I'm Mark McPherson. Welcome to one of my videos in which I give an overview of one of my strategies for putting an end to bad behaviour and for dealing with difficult people. In this video, I'm going to give a brief overview of a strategy I call Assertive Instant Messages, AIMs, Assertive Instant Messages. They're assertive and they're instant. That is, they're given as soon as possible after you've identified the poor behaviour. An example. I was in a shop a while ago, a cafe. There were some young kids there. A woman was looking after them. I don't know if it's the mother, but it doesn't matter. She was in charge of them, and she turned around and went, "Really?" It's an assertive instant message, and as you might notice from that, it has a number of components. They usually have these components or some combination of them. Words, sounds, and or tone in the voice, and some visual component. They usually have a combination of those three, but not always. So they're things like this: shh, stop, hang on, really, what are you doing, no swearing. Those sorts of things. They're assertive, they're instant messages, and they work incredibly well in a number of situations. They work incredibly well in an emergency. Of course, we wouldn't be calling out to someone who's about to get hit by a car, "Excuse me there, it looks like you're in a bit of bother." We'd cut to the chase. "Stop! Look out! Watch out!" Whatever it happens to be. So you can see it's got some words, it's got something about the voice, and it's usually got some sort of visuals as well. So they work very well in an emergency. They also work incredibly well when the person is not going to take offence. Now, even if this person, when you yelled at, who's going to be hit by a car, they might immediately go, "Well, what's the matter?" And then they wake up to the fact of what's happening. So if they're not going to, they work incredibly well when the person is not going to take offence. But just be warned, you turn around to someone in a restaurant or something and go, "Shh," it can be pretty offensive. Be careful. So they work well in some particular situations, but just be careful. They work well, for example, when the person is going to self-correct. For example, my wife was on the phone. I didn't realise that. I walked into the living room where she was on the phone. She turned to me and went, "Shh." It's an assertive instant message, and I got it. So it worked well because I self-correct. Now, people will self-correct in a number of times. One is when they're just intuitive. There's no doubt about that. People go, "Oh, what did I do wrong?" Or that people are in a state of mind where they're willing to accept that they're not perfect. They also work incredibly well when we've got a relationship with the person, a good relationship. So my wife doing what she did with the non-verbals, that instant assertive message, worked. Because I have a good relationship, I know that she wouldn't be being nasty to me. Well, I hope not. And so I was able to say to myself, "Oh, what have I done wrong here?" Very quickly. She's on the phone and I'm making a bit of noise. They also work incredibly well when we've given a full message to the person, when we explain the problem. So with this woman in the cafe, if she just said, "Really?" To kids who hadn't been told in the past that behaviour was unacceptable, they might have said, "Well, what are we doing wrong? We don't get it." And fair enough too. So they work incredibly well in emergencies. They work well when people don't take offence. They work incredibly well when people are likely to self-correct, and that's usually in situations where they're intuitive, they have a good relationship with you, or you've told them before the standards of behaviour, the expectations on their behaviour. Let's leave it there. AIMs are incredibly important, but be warned. They have some drawbacks. Be careful. All the very best to you. Whatever you're doing, look after your friends, look after your family and colleagues as well. And I do hope to chat to you soon. See you later.